Okay, so let me get this thing rolling. Hi, everyone. This is Country Music News International. And today I am speaking to Sarah Davison, who is, I guess you would say, the main lady in the band HighRoad. And
Yes.
if you want to check out what they're all about, the website is highroadmusic, all one word, .com, which is where I've been kind of hanging out the last hour or so. I've got this tune going through my brain at the moment. Uh,
What tune?
Squirrel Hunter. I
It's
guess
a catchy tune.
well, it is. The thing that kind of really caught my attention is at work. I'm listening to it and thinking, yeah, this is essentially bluegrass music, but it could be an Irish folk song or it could be a British folk song,
Yes.
either from
Very much
England
so.
or from Scotland. And I think that's one of the reasons. I mean, I really do like bluegrass music a lot. And I think one of the reasons is because you can always, it's very easy to trace the
It
connection
is.
between Irish and British folk
My family is
bluegrass.
originally from Eastern Kentucky, and they
Right.
came over actually from Northern Scotland and England. So a lot of the folk music that you hear in bluegrass music actually comes from Irish and Scottish and British music. They heard the same tunes and brought them over.
Yeah. I remember reading an article from about Ricky Skaggs, and he was talking about when he was taking part in these kind of competitions when he was a very small child.
Yes.
And a lot of the kind of program music that the contestants had to play was old British or Irish folk stuff.
Very
Um,
much, especially in the fiddle tunes world. Squirrel Hunter is an old fiddle tune that we kind
yeah.
of revived and made it our own. And the names of some of the fiddle tunes are just hilarious sometimes. I don't know where they come up with the names, but we love that old time style and the old time music and keeping some of that heritage alive because the Appalachian music of America really has its roots in Irish and Scottish and English music.
Yes. Over the last year, actually, I've spoken to a couple. I spoke to a trio of very young ladies who are from Kentucky, and they'd been to like a sort of college of, well, the way I pronounce is Appalachian. I know you pronounce it differently in the States. Um, but they'd been to like a school where they were teaching this
Yes,
this style and keeping this tradition alive, and so these girls were able to learn instruments, learn how to
right.
put a song together, how to harmonize when they started singing. And I thought, wow,
Isn't
that's
that wonderful?
that's great, isn't it? I mean, I wish
Yeah.
I'd had that when I was a kid. um
Yes, it's great. And one of the girls in our group actually works for IBMA, which is the International Bluegrass
oh
Music Association.
yeah, I've heard of that. I've actually also heard of Belmont University because I know they do quite a
Yes,
lot of music courses there. So, were you actually a classically trained pianist?
I was.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up playing bluegrass with my dad. He was a self-taught musician, and my grandmother was a really, really good piano player. She played for live radio shows back in the 40s and
Oh,
50s.
cool.
And she would play for the artists that would come in, the singers,
Yeah.
and she taught me a lot of piano. And then my dad played everything that he picked up. So I grew up around music and started playing with dad's band when I was 5. And when I was about 8 years old, I really wanted to do music. And so I started taking lessons and studied classical piano until I graduated high school and I got into the piano program at Belmont.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
even though my degree is a jazz based degree, I actually had to take classical lessons the whole 4 years that I was there.
So, listening to you guys, we've got piano, guitar, fiddle, mandolin.
Right.
Um, what else do you throw in? Are you multi-instrumentalists?
We are. Everybody plays different instruments. When we play live, most of us stick to just one or maybe
Right.
two. Our fiddle player also plays the banjo, the dobro, and the mandolin. and our mandolin player also plays the guitar and the banjo. So we
There
might
you
switch it up every now and then. And you never know. We love to have fun in our concerts. So if there's a song where it's just fiddle and mandolin, we might do something really fun like that.
go. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to your music. I wasn't quite clear about what is the most recent release from HighRoad.
It's a song called When I Lift Up My Head, He Lifts Up My Heart.
Right.
And it's an old song. Actually, it was written back in the 70s. And it was written by one of my favorite songwriters, Dottie Rambo. She wrote a lot of wonderful songs in the gospel world and country
Mhm.
world. And this is kind of an old song that we've revived. And it has a really simple message to it. You know, when we keep our head up and we keep our spirits up and we choose to have joy, the world sees that and we lift other people up in return. And it's a really simple message that we love. So that's our new single right now. And I think right now it's number one on the bluegrass gospel charts,
Okay.
and it's number 9 on the gospel charts. So we're really excited about that.
And is that going to be part of an album or is
It
it just,
is.
yeah,
Yes, we just released a brand new full length album a couple weeks ago, and it's available online or on our website if you want the hard copy. But you can stream it anywhere on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music. It's all out there.
on my other monitor here, I've got your website, which I was going through for sort of
Yeah,
yes, and I was looking at this picture. It says HighRoad, straight from the heart, with lots of nice flowers. And I was wondering, is that a new album? So
it
it
is.
is.
Our
So
picture's on the back of it.
I kind
Yeah,
of
we
guessed
we
right.
chose to have a cool kind of a retro graphic as our album cover because we'd never done that before. So we wanted to do something a little different, and yeah, it looks kind of like you're taking a walk in the mountains with all the wildflowers on the front of it.
So
Don't you love how music just takes you different places that you would never
yeah.
go otherwise?
Well, one of the most amazing things is doing this because I get to meet people like you
Yeah,
who I would
it's
never
really neat how
meet.
music brings people together. In fact, right now I have guests at my house. I have for the last couple of weeks from Norway, and they're really dear friends of ours that we've met in our travels overseas. And they came over to Nashville for a couple of weeks, and they've been staying here. And tonight we're going to the Opry because Jimmy Fortune is playing
Yeah.
tonight, and he's a dear friend of mine. And so we're going to go watch Jimmy play tonight. But we've had the best time. And I just think I would have never met them otherwise if had
Yeah.
it not been for music. And so it's really neat how music brings us all together.
The other thing I've got on my screen here is your kind of touring schedule. You guys are busy, right?
We are. And
Wow.
so we have been so busy this summer, which is great. And then all of us play for different artists as well. So like this weekend, HighRoad's playing Sunday night, but Friday and Saturday, I'm playing with Emily Ann, and she's doing Country Thunder with Cody Johnson. So we've got a couple of big dates this weekend.
And if I look at some of the venues, I mean, there's a number of churches,
Yep. We
um,
play a lot of churches, a lot of
festivals.
fairs, a lot of
Yeah.
festivals.
Mhm. I mean, that's something we do not have over
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
there certainly isn't like a circuit that you could tour, that you could go from church to church or
It's
fair
very
or
different.
festival.
I know our friends from Norway say that there's not a whole lot of churches that have concerts, in Norway. And when we've gone over there, we usually play at like high school auditoriums and performing arts centers,
Yeah.
places like that. And but yeah, it's very different. Over here, there's so many large churches that have huge auditoriums and
Yeah.
sanctuaries, and they have big festivals in the summers, especially. And so it's neat to get to go to everywhere. We don't care where we go; we just want to play music. I grew up in a Lutheran church. And then my parents started a ministry when I was little called Cowboy Church. And we have church at the fairgrounds. And we have a little feed store that my parents
Okay.
own, and they have Bible studies at the feed store. And everyone wears their cowboy hats and cowboy boots. And it's so much fun.
I definitely miss that. Never had anything like that. Uh,
Well, if you ever come over here, you'll have to go to a cowboy church.
I would actually. I think that would just be really good fun. Going back to your piano playing, because I listened to a little bit of it, and I was, as I say, I was thinking, is this a classically trained piano player? Because the way you play, I mean, like physically how you play the piano, you think now that looks like a classically trained pianist. But the music you were playing was like boogie,
Is
you know.
not. When
It's
I
like,
studied
okay,
music, as even a young girl, I became enthralled with ragtime piano.
all right,
And I got really into Scott Joplin
yeah,
and some of the early ragtime composers. And in high school, I worked actually at a theme park that was old timey. It was set in the 1880s, and you had to dress like it and everything. And I was the ragtime piano player. So growing up, I really loved ragtime music and that boogie woogie style.
one thing I haven't asked you about, of course, is songwriting. I think you write a lot.
We do. We write a lot of our own songs. And I know you would understand this too as a composer. When you write songs, it's like taking a little piece of your heart and just putting it on a piece of paper for the world to see. And we love to write songs. And I find myself often writing about home and my life, growing up as a farm kid in the Midwest and thinking, of all the wonderful memories that I have of home. And so, yeah, we love to write songs. And it's special for us to get to do albums like this where we get to share so much of our heart with people and share so much of our songs.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to thank you for coming on to our lovely little show.
I've enjoyed this so much.
It's not really a show, but we enjoy. Well, I enjoy doing these things. It's like I said,
I bet you do. I bet you love to meet people from
I
all
do.
walks of life, and what a neat thing that you're doing. I love it. I'm so thankful I got to be a part of it today.
Well, thank you. We always are very grateful for the people who take the time to talk to us.
Well, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you.
I've
So, and
really
I'm
enjoyed
going
it.
to wave you goodbye and have a great night tonight at the Opry.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your rehearsal. Take
Thank you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.